Hey guys, so today I'm going to be analyzing the last couple chapters of Asem. Just to pick up where we left off the last time, the Dutoy family, which are Yona's original owners, they are coming to fetch him. And the daughter of the family, whose dog it is Eunice. So her name is Eunice Dutoy. She is 16 years old, she's a girl, and she is blind. And she's talking to Barry's and she tells him that Yona's name is actually Bart, which is also a Bible character, but this Bible character is a blind person. She also explains that Bart is her guide dog, so she can't actually leave him with Barry's because she needs him to get around. She also told him that they were on their sailing boat and the massive wave came and knocked Bart overboard. The family tries to offer Barry's a check with some money in it because they appreciate him looking after Yona, but he says that his time with Yona cannot be paid or made up for with money because his time with Yona was too precious to be paid off by any amount. Barry's also gives the family his childhood teddy bear named Bolly, and he gives that to Yona so that Yona will remember him. Then Barry's also decides that he wants to keep his mother's maiden name, so he doesn't want the surname Barnard anymore. Obviously, he changed his mind because he found out Paul is not his real dad, so he wants to have his mom's surname instead. He also decides to throw the rat poisoning in the toilet. And that night when Barry's is sleeping, he wakes up to the sound of glass. So he sees Paul is in the kitchen, and in one hand he has a glass with brandy in it, and in the other there is a broken bottle of brandy. So this is obviously the sound that he heard. Paul obviously broke the bottle. And instead of drinking the brandy out of the glass, he decides to throw it down the drain. He goes back to his room, but he hears his father crying in the kitchen. Paul says that Barry's is always welcome at his home and that if he wants to, he can go to a boarding school in the area if he wants to stay with his father. The boarding school is in Jeffreys Bay, so he said he would pay for him to go to that school. But instead, Barry's asks if Paul can send Philly and pay for Philly to go to that school. So it is now the next day and Barry's is going home. He is walking to the bus stop, but on his way there, he sees a Nigerian stall with a drug dealer in it. So just as he's about to purchase drugs from this drug dealer because he's feeling super down, he just found out about his dad not being his real dad, and he had to give Yona away. There's a police officer, the one who told Paul about Vera, his name is Willie Schultz. He stops Barry's from buying any drugs. So it's also important to remember that Willie Schultz drives a white BMW, and Paul had asked him to look after Barry's and to watch him on his way to the bus in order to ensure that he does not buy any drugs. Because Paul obviously knows his son very well and knows that when he is down, he is going to turn to drugs in order to feel better. So Barry's is required to do a drug test or a urine test just in order to ensure that he is clean and that he has not done drugs while he was with his father. Because remember, that was part of the agreement with Captain Mafeka. Captain Mafeka said that he is not allowed to get up to any trouble or do anything bad, or he will be faced with criminal charges. So when he arrives in Joburg, Nico is there to greet him. And Barry's asks her if he is allowed to see the verkeersman's wife, so the man who died, who they hit. Barry's wants to see his wife, and Nico says that she works the night shift at the hospital. Now he is at the hospital and he is going to see his mother. So she's in a very bad state, she can't even talk, but he knows that there is something that she needs to tell him. Her neck and her body are covered in bandages from the assault. Even though she cannot talk to him, Barry still tells her about his time with his father and what he got up to when he was staying with him. After he has visited his mom, he goes to Lizette's house. But when he gets into Vera's car, her Mercedes, to drive there, he sees that there is lots of blood all over the seats, and it makes him feel very sad. When he gets to Lizette's house, her mom says that she is at Theo's house. So Barry decides to go there. He sees Theo's green cadet outside his house, And when he knocks on the door, he sees Lizette and Theo, and they say that they are in a relationship now. And they make many excuses and they say sorry, but obviously they are not really good friends because they went behind his back and got into a relationship when Theo knew that he had a thing for Lizette. They also say sorry about his mom because they've heard what has happened. Then Eunice, the girl who owns Yona, she calls Barry's. And she says that they heard about his dad, and since he didn't accept the check from them, he would like to pay for any medical bills they may have. Barry's really appreciates this and accepts the offer. Then he goes back to his apartment and he sees Olga is waiting outside. Barry's asks Olga why she is there because he's obviously very surprised that she is outside his apartment. He didn't even know that she knew where he lived, and he hadn't told her that in the past. She says that she has finally left Steph, and she has thrown her cell phone into the sea so that Steph and the police cannot find her. She plans on going to Namibia the following week, but does not have enough money for a plane ticket. Paul then calls Barry's and asks if Olga is there, because the police are looking for her and Olga had stolen his pistol. While she is sleeping, Barry's looks in her bag and he sees that there is a pistol there, Paul's one, her cell phone, well, a cell phone, not hers because she threw it in the sea, Paul's purse or Paul's wallet. She also has syringes that you would use to inject yourself with drugs, and she has some sort of brown powder. So he takes the pistol and the wallet and he puts those in a safe. Once he has put them in the safe, Dr. Yassi Dutoy calls Barry's. She says that Vera has permanent brain damage, so she needs full-time care and to do physiotherapy to learn how to walk and to do things again. She also advises that she goes to a clinic because Barry's will not be able to provide her with this full-time care because he has school and sports to do. Later on, when Olga wakes up, Barry's confronts her about Butcher, and he also says that the police are looking for her, so that she needs to leave his apartment soon. She has injected herself with drugs, and Barry's knows that she's clear in his hands, so he can do whatever he likes with her and she'll be willing to do anything. But he doesn't, because he is working to become a better person, and he knows that by doing anything with her in the state, he will be taking advantage of her. He decides to let her sleep it off, and he goes to sleep too. But when he wakes up, he realizes that she is gone. She has left him a message on his mirror in red lipstick, and it says, "Thanks, Bar, jy was my beste ooit." When he walks around his apartment, he realizes that she has also stolen his money and his mom's jewelry. Barry takes out his pistol from the safe, and he goes to Theo, Floris, and Lizette's house. And he shoots the pistol into their bedroom windows because he is very angry about their relationship. And also the fact that they all testified against him in court. So he feels very betrayed by the three of them. He then goes home and decides to go back into town again. But when he does, he leaves his pistol at the house and he bumps into Butcher. Butcher waves him over with his shotgun. Barry obeys because he knows that Butcher is very dangerous, and if he has a shotgun, he is not afraid to use it. So Butcher asks Barry if he had told the police about him, because if he has, it will be very bad for his drug dealing business. And he also warns Barry that if he tells the police about the drugs that he bought and that Butcher deals drugs, then he will tell the police about Barry's buying rat poisoning from him and will also expose his plan about poisoning his father. This is obviously very bad for Barry's because if the police find out about that, then they will charge him with a bunch of criminal charges, because remember, Captain Mafeka said that if he did anything bad while he was with his dad, then he will face all the criminal charges that they were going to charge him with, such as like being in possession of drugs, about the assault and destruction to property, all of those things. And also because he is involved in the murder of the death of that man. Barry goes back to his house after this, after he agrees with Butcher that he will not say anything about the drugs. He gets his own pistol and he goes back to Butcher. He pushes him to the ground, hits him to the ground, and he puts the pistol in his mouth. and he asks if it was him or another person who assaulted his mom. Barry takes the pistol out of Butcher's mouth and runs to the hospital. He sees Sister Kapoor, so this is the dead verkeersman's wife, and he says that it is his fault that his mom is in such a bad situation, and it is his fault that she was assaulted. He also apologizes for what happened to her husband, and he also says that it is his fault that the husband is dead. But she says that she forgives him, and he must also forgive himself with the help of God. Then he goes home. He accidentally shoots a shot from the gun because he forgot to turn on the safety, and it hits his fish tank, leaving dead fish and water everywhere on the floor. After that, he decides to call Niku, and he tells her about what happened with Butcher and that he is the person who assaulted his mom. And she says that she is going to come to his apartment now. When she comes to his apartment, she sees Olga's phone, and she says that that's actually Barry's mom's phone. So this is what we can conclude from the situation, that Butcher assaulted his mom because Barry's found Olga's old cell phone in the bin, and this phone was his mom's phone. So obviously Butcher assaulted his mom, stole her phone, and then sold it to Olga. And this is how we know that it was Butcher who assaulted his mom, and this is evidence. Paul also comes to the apartment, and he says that he is now there for Barry's and Vera. But Barry says that it is 12 years too late. Despite this, Paul still invites him and his mom to come stay with him in Siaplas. Now we are on our last chapter, and it is 4 months later. So Barry's and his mom Vera live in Siaplas with the dad, Paul. Then Lizette calls Barry's. She says that her, Theo, and Floris are now Christians because they had a good experience at the church, and I think that they are trying to be better people and make up for their mistakes. Theo had a suspended sentence of 4 years, so he did not have to go to jail. Vera is sitting on the stoop with a full-time nurse who is helping to feed her, so this is obviously the full-time care that she needs, and she is also receiving treatment for her physiotherapy that she needs. Next to her is Nelson, and this is a parrot that they have as a pet. They took him to live with the father. Barry's goes to the boarding school in Jeffreys Bay. So this is, remember, he actually did take Paul up on the offer of sending him to a boarding school, and I think that he is there with Philly as well. He says that it's a very good experience, and it's a big change, but he is enjoying it a lot. Eunice Dutoy is also there, so this is the girl who owned Yona, and this is his girlfriend. She says that she is going to come visit him today with Yona. Steph also has a new girl, but she is the exact same as Olga, and she is lying naked on the rocks tanning. So he has not changed his type at all. Okay, so this is the end of the book. I hope that these summaries helped you guys, and good luck for your exam. I would love if you let me know how it went in the comments.